All right. So I'm recording today's session, and we are going to spend some time here this afternoon talking about building a business you love, but specifically thinking through those questions to consider to ensure that you're getting out of that default mode and really into growth mode with your financial wellness. We are going to cover a lot of information this afternoon. And I really want you to come into this conversation with a mindset where you're open minded and thinking about kind of reflecting on what does my business status quo look like right now? Or if you're someone that maybe isn't in a business currently, but you're considering those ways to improve your financial wellness, thinking through, what are some things going on in my life right now that I need to be considering to level up to that next level in my financial wellness? Because I will tell you what, my husband and I, we've been on a financial wellness journey for a couple years now. And just making more money it isn't as easy of a solution as you might think. There's a lot that goes into financial wellness, and I want to talk about all of those aspects and leave you with some questions to consider and some systems to look at as well. Because coming into this from a holistic approach where you're feeling well, you're surrounded by people that are doing well and doing well, good things with their money, as well as in an opportunity where you have some really financial security. All of those things play a really big role into that financial wellness as a whole. So let's dive right into today's conversation. So, what we're going to cover today, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about questions you should be asking yourself if you're really serious about getting your finances into a growth mode. We're going to talk about some proven systems that you can follow to help you achieve that, as well as how the mental wellness movement is going to play a role. Lastly, we're going to cover some things in the community and mentorship space that's going to help you learn and grow as well. So before we dive into all of that, hi, my name's Brandy. I know some of you know me already and you know me well. Others, you may just have that social media acquaintance, and some of you are completely brand new and we have not met before. So I want to share just a little bit about my background so you know what you're getting from me as we hang out here a little bit today. So I am a full-time working mompreneur, which means I have an entrepreneurship heart. I love building, I love crafting, I love growing, I love creating, and I work a full-time job, which I have to say, in my experience, especially in the social selling space, I came from a place previously where I've been in the social selling space for, gosh, I'm going to be coming up on 10 years before we know it. And when I first found the social selling space, I was a new mom and I was hearing a lot about, do this social media selling, learn how to generate income online so you can leave your job, right? You can retire your husband, you can leave your job. And all of a sudden, I stamped that as my goal as I was learning how to leverage social media to generate an income. And really came to find out later on that turns out I actually really like working. I really like my full-time job. And this is something I always like to point out because if you are looking at how you can leverage social selling to replace an income, or maybe currently you are a mom, a full-time mom at home, which in my eyes, I consider that a full-time job in itself. You just are lacking the salary, which you very well should have. If you are a full-time stay-at-home mom, and you're looking to bring in some income that way. But also, if you have a corporate career, if you're a working woman and you want to just learn how to diversify your income streams, I want to tell you that social selling doesn't just have to be for the person that wants to replace their income. It is a great way to earn income regardless of where you're at. So I always love to point that out. I'm a self-proclaimed science nerd. I am curious. I love all things. This is what has really led me to a passion around asking questions and looking for different answers and solutions where they might not always be just obvious. I'm super crunchy and I love nature. I always like to joke, like I feed my kids mac and cheese and we go for Dairy Queen ice cream, but I'm also like taking out all the fragrances in my home. So I'm kind of walking that crunchy line where we're trying to clean things up and do things a little better, but I'm going to cook my kids mac and cheese once in a while too. I'm proudly rural raised. I grew up on a dairy farm actually in Northeast Nebraska. I now live in Washington State with my husband and two kids. I'm an Enneagram 9. So if you're an Enneagram, I would love to see you drop that in the chat or share that with me because I think the Enneagram is fabulous. I always say I'm kind of a recovered people pleaser. So Enneagram 9s, we're like sing kumbaya, everybody wraps your arms around each other and spends quality time together. And I've improved on that over the years. And I'm just quirky, and you're going to find that out. And hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun here today as we chat a little bit more. So I want to first dive into some questions. And I specifically want to talk about why questions matter, especially when you're thinking about financial wellness, because I find this really interesting. My husband and I talk about this a lot, is that financial wellness of all things, right? It kind of seems like this super secretive thing that we don't talk about, right? We don't get together with our friends very often and talk about like, how's your bank account looking? Like, how are you doing? What do you have any debt, right? We kind of have this weird assumption about what other people are doing, even close people in our lives. But oftentimes we just don't talk about finances, but it's really important. Financial wellness is really important, right? We talk about physical wellness, we talk about relationship wellness, we talk about mental wellness now, but we don't really talk about the financial part. And so that's why I first want to get you thinking about some questions to just have internally with yourself. And then you can take those to your spouse or whoever's close surrounding you so you can start to consider some of these things. Because let's be real, we're all looking around and we're seeing different people doing different things. Either they look like they're having success, or maybe we know they're having a little success in the financial space. And we're all asking the same question, right? How does that happen? So here's a couple questions we can start thinking about if we want to get out of default mode when we're thinking about our social selling businesses, when we're thinking about how we're earning income online and looking at some business opportunities to actually generate income. Because here's the cool thing about the world that we're in right now is that social selling, whatever your product would be, is really a booming business right now. But you do have to ask yourself, is what I'm offering, is it in high demand? Do people actually want to get their hands on what I'm offering? You also need to ask, does my business feel good with the way it's currently operating? I can speak to this one saying that when I was in a previous social selling space, it got to a point where how I was operating just didn't feel good anymore. And that's a really important thing to consider as we're looking at other opportunities to grow that financial wellness. You also need to be asking yourself, what is my time actually worth? And so here's kind of how that bullet point 2 and bullet point 3 can look with when you're comparing them is ask yourself, does your business feel good? Look at how much time you're putting into your business, right? Do you feel like, oh, I'm just constantly behind the 8 ball, right? I'm just constantly trying to get more information out. I'm just chasing my tail or feeling slightly overwhelmed. Well, with the amount of time that you're putting in, what's your time actually worth, right? What are you actually getting paid? What kind of income are you actually generating with the time that you're putting into it? Because I'm going to tell you what, if you're putting in a ton of time and over time you haven't seen that return on income, that's something really important to be thinking about. And then also asking yourself, are your business systems stagnant or are they thriving and growing? You should be able to be scaling your business because with time, right? Every new business is going to take a new level of dedication and time and effort. And I'm not here to tell you that any online opportunity is effort free, right? You're going to need to come up, do the tasks, put in your own effort, and have some grit there. But over time, as you are working your business, you should also be scaling it, which essentially means that you're starting to build systems that make it so you can put in less work to generate the same, if not more income. That's really important. So you need to be looking at like, have I kind of just been doing the same old, same old? And this is that question again of, is my business on default? Am I doing that same old, or am I growing and scaling to meet the needs of my customers to then have the financial wellness I really am after, right? All right, so I want to have this conversation and I want to talk about what we're doing at Amare with the mental wellness company, because I really did everything wrong, right? And I don't necessarily like to say right or wrong. That's why it has the air quotes around it, because wrong just means learning, right? I learned. So, even all my missteps were a wonderful learning opportunity, but I don't want other people to have to continue to stumble forward in a space that now we can jump over that, right? You don't have to take all the missteps that I went through to get where we are now. And a couple of those things were, one, like I shared before, started building a business on social media. I had the light bulb moment when someone shared social selling to me. It was an immediate light bulb of like, oh, I've sort of been seeing people generate income online. I think I can do that. I think I know enough people, but I started doing it without any modern social selling tools, right? I was building those relationships and having those conversations, but it was a very manual and very cumbersome process. And so starting now, this second rebirth, this pivot that I've taken, that was one of the biggest things that I was looking at. And I want to, again, ask you to consider and kind of ask that question of yourself is, again, looking at how does my business feel? And what are some of those systems and tools that I have? Are they super manual? Or are we starting to automate some things? Because man, there are some modern social selling tools that are going to help streamline what you're doing. So again, you can spend more time doing what you love with the people that you love and truly embrace that time freedom, right? The other thing that I was doing was I followed a system and implemented enticement marketing tactics and reach outs. So again, I was totally new to social media selling, and I was just like, okay, this is what I have to do, right? To get the eyes on my content, I got to keep it fresh, and I got to keep creating new stuff, and I have to take better photos, and I should have branded photos, and things need to look aesthetically beautiful and pleasing. And I'm reaching out to people and I'm asking them to buy from me, and I'm doing the hey girl messages. And I realize now, right, that again, all of that was so manual and it was a little icky, right? It's not that it didn't work for a while, but we all know better, do better, and realize that in modern social selling, that system doesn't work anymore. Also, I was reading a ton of personal development, but I just had no idea how to go from actually knowing it to doing it. And I don't know if you've ever felt that way before, where you're digging in and you're like, oh, my cup is full. I feel like I'm getting such great information. You feel inspired, you feel motivated, you feel like you've been given all this really great information. But when it actually comes time to sit down and do your income producing activities, you're like, I still am not sure if this is right. I still don't know if I'm doing the right things. And there's a really big gap, right, between having a lot of great personal development, but not actually knowing how to put it into action. And that's another really important thing in thinking about financial wellness, is that you not only need to like be poured into and have that personal development, but you need to run with it, right? You need to get into action with it. So there's a couple things that I want you to think about. Again, we're asking these questions and looking at our financial wellness and thinking about how we can actually get more time freedom while still earning an income that really reflects on what we want our life to look like. And there's essentially 5 things that you need to be thinking about for a home-based business or social retail that are really important. Number 1 is timing. So you need to be thinking about the timing of the products in the market as it is. And here's something that's really incredible with Amare, and especially us being the first ever mental wellness company, the timing is impeccable in that right around 2020, right, things got crazy. And we have seen the conversation around mental wellness start to just boom. And people are talking about this right now. They're talking about anxiety. They're talking about depression. Unfortunately, we are seeing this in our kids now. It's not just adults that are overwhelmed, right? We're seeing young kids talking about this, and everybody's talking about it. And we're looking for solutions for how to improve this really critical issue. So the timing of this conversation is super important. And you need to be asking yourself if the timing around what you're doing is well done. The other thing is company, right? Being with a company that aligns with your integrity, the exec team experience, the funding, and the systems, again, so that you can support your growth. You also need to be thinking about, when it comes to social selling, are these great products? Do they work? Do people want them? Is it something that's actually new and functional? Are people getting the results that they're looking for immediately and right out the gates? So they're instantly ready to be like, yes, this stuff works. I feel it. I can experience, and I want to know more. Number 5 is the compensation piece, or number 4, excuse me, is the compensation piece. When we're thinking about social selling, this is such a key to the financial wellness piece of things, because again, your time is valuable. And I know this about me, and I know this about you as well, is that as I get older, I want to spend less time like plugging away, that old adage of like, work now so we can play later. I don't want that. I'm watching my kids grow up in a blink, and I don't want to work so hard and then finally have the time to play when they're out of my house and they're older and they're on their own. I want to play now. And I'm not afraid of work, and I know you're not afraid of work either, but we want to be able to have the compensation so that the work we put in now is rewarded financially so that we can still play now and build that generational wealth into the future. And number 5 is making sure that you find a culture that aligns with you, that you really feel in integrity with, right? What is the mission? What is the purpose? Is the company that you're working with connecting on a greater level than just like, oh, wow, these products are great? Because you are going to be so much more inspired to share and to build and to grow in this social selling space with a company that you feel aligned with. So here's what I want to ask you next is, if you're sitting here and we're talking and you're like having those feelings, or you've had those feelings before, because this is where I was at, of like, oh my gosh, I can't keep spinning my wheels, right? We're talking about financial wellness here. And if you are in a space where you're in the social selling space and you are plugging away, but you're just not getting ahead, and you're wondering like, there's got to be something more. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Maybe you're even thinking that you're part of the problem. This is such a valid feeling, and I want you to know that you're not the only one. Like I said, I've been in that same place as well, thinking like, man, I started this to get freedom, and all I've gotten is myself into more work and more time on my phone and more time away from my kids. Here's the thing. You get to start the ripple effect of changing your financial wellness and changing the way your business looks and feels. You just have to take action. So here's where the mental wellness movement comes into play, because the mental wellness movement and what we're doing at Amare is big and it's bold and it's coming in like a freight train, and everyone's talking about it. And you have the opportunity to be able to align with that and share this ripple effect in a really big and massive way. So here at Amare, right, we are the first ever mental wellness company. And what we are passionate about is helping people level up how they feel mentally, but also physically, so they can show up in a better way for their families and their loved ones. And then that ripple effect can continue to go on and out to not only just their family and their household, but to the people they work with and play with and spend time with in the spaces of mood, metabolism, motivation, mental resiliency, which really just means they're able to handle stress better, confidence, gut health, and then, of course, the financial wellness piece as well. And here's something we talked about earlier, right? Those 5 key things in a social selling business. Number 1 was timing. Timing really does matter. And here's the thing, there's so many aspects to consider when upgrading or pivoting in your social selling business. But the timing piece I can speak to so specifically, because when I joined my first social selling company, I actually joined right before they were closing the door on the rocket ship. And what I mean by that is I joined my first social selling company when the momentum was right about to take off. So hitting in this hyper growth stage, right? We're not quite to hyper growth yet with Amare. We're still in that building and growth stage. I joined, and I was one of the last people to get in on the hyper growth before that rocket ship door closed, and my business took off massively. I know the vehicle and the success of how incredible timing works. Here's what's so cool about what's happening with Amare with the timing right now is, like I said, where that heart is, where it's kind of in that prove it stage, where I'm sure a lot of you are hearing more and more about Amare. You're hearing about Happy Juice. Happy Juice is starting to have its viral moment in the sun right now. But a lot of people are like, what is that? What is that? Does it work? What's that about? Right? people are looking for Amare to like, okay, prove it, which we know, right? We know as I sit here and I'm enjoying my happy juice and I see some of you on here and enjoying yours as well, that the products really do give you the results that you want and you can feel it. It's not just this idea of like, oh, I know this is good for me, so I'm going to keep taking it. You take it and you can feel the changes in your body. So we're in that prove it stage and we're about to hit hyper growth. So when we're thinking about financial wellness and when you put on your business CEO hat, you are truly joining a company at a time that couldn't be better to start sharing that ripple effect to not only impact people's health, but impact their financial health as well. So timing really, really does matter. This is just a few things for consideration looking at Amare by the numbers. I am an Enneagram 9, right? I share that. So I'm like a hugger. I'm a feeler. Like when I was looking at the business opportunity, I'm like, I want to know what they're about. Are they in integrity? Is their message meaningful to me? Do I have purpose? I know some of you are like that, but I also know there's a lot of you that are like, show me the numbers. Well, here's the numbers. And we are up in company growth, company-wide growth, 100% in this past year. So year over year, we're up 150% in our customers joining Amare, 350% with brand partners joining, right? So we're starting to board that rocket ship with people that are sharing Amare's products and mission and vision. And we also have 2 times higher product consumption than other companies and 2 times better retention than other companies. And so essentially what that means is that people who join the business stay in the business 2 times more than they do with other companies. And people that start the products stay using the products and they are repeat customers 2 times more than other companies. That's a really big deal in the health and wellness space. And I'm telling you, I can't say this enough, is that one of the biggest reasons why that is because our products, they're gut health supplements, right? They're mental wellness supplements, but they're things that you can feel, right? It's not just something where you're like, oh, I think that could be working. You can actually feel it and you can see the difference almost immediately. The other thing about this is that simple systems really work. I shared a couple just quotes, and this is just in the past couple months of some customers' testimonials that they've shared with me personally, that they've popped into my inbox. These ones are specifically talking about the products that are in our Happy Juice bundle, which is our Edge, our Energy, and our Mentabiotics. But simple systems really do work. And this is what's so fabulous about the Amare product line is I always call it like a bridge, right? Is that when you're not feeling very good and you're trying to get to a place of feeling better, a lot of times there's this disconnect, right? You're trying to get to this other side. You don't have this bridge fully built and you want to improve how you're feeling and showing up. Amare helps build that bridge so you can get to that faster. And then you can start showing up the way that you want to feel because you have the tools and you're equipped with the tools to feel better. All right, so this portion, I want to start to really dive into what are the tools and the systems. So I had shared in the beginning some things that I wanted to make sure that you walked away with. And one of those is talking about proven systems and proven tools that actually work. Because I shared this from the get-go. I don't want you to get on here and all of a sudden find yourself joining a company where you feel like you're trading your time for money again. I want you to be equipped to be efficient, to earn income in a way that's going to feel really good to you. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And it doesn't have to be that way because we have tools that help really simplify how you can earn business in the social space. One of those tools is the Amare Builder app. So this is an app that equips you with videos, links, shopping carts, and everything on that app is specifically connected to your personal shopping cart and website. So everything you send out from that, the people that you're sharing with are able to be connected to you personally. The other piece of this is the Amare systems and training. So the Amare Learning X system. So you can learn about all sorts of resources, your onboarding plan, leads, systems, everything you need to do to get plugged in and get started. And then lastly, the fact that you are able to give $10 off with your personal code every single time you talk with a new prospect or customer, that $10 off is automatically added. All right, so I also want to dive into the 8 ways that you can get paid with Amari. So there's 8 different ways that you can earn an income in the social selling business with Amari. The first one is one of our easiest ways to do this, and that's by sharing your focus on 5. So when you sign up and you share the products with 5 other people and they enroll with their first product order, you are able to earn $500 just by sharing the products with 5 different people. We also have a minimum monthly reward system that has mentor ranks. And you can start earning those mentor ranks. So as you go up in the ranks, you're able to then earn a minimum monthly reward, which means as you hit new ranks, your income will automatically hit that minimum each month. We've got customer bonus programs, so you're able to earn 38% on commissions with all of your products and even able to earn a trip. And then there's also cash bonuses and prizes as well. We've got bonus pools and team growth, so up to 4% on commissionable volume with the company. So at the end of each month, you can earn these additional bonus pools as your team grows. And then you can get paid all the way down to 10 levels deep, which is incredible and surpasses a lot of what our fellow corporations and companies are doing. And then the last 2 ways you can get paid, these are kind of the fun options, right? Earning a car and then the travel recognition program. One thing specifically I love about our travel program is that you don't have to build a team to earn a trip. So you can solely share and share products with customers and still be able to get in on that travel program, which is just exceptional. Okay, we are about to the end of our conversation today, but I want to leave you with just a few last tidbits. One is that we have a risk-free guarantee up to a full year. So you can try our products up to an entire year. And if you're not satisfied, you ship back the product containers and you get a 100% money back guarantee. This is how passionately we feel about how our products work, is that we know you're going to feel a difference. And if you don't feel a difference, if you give it that full blue try and you do not feel a difference, you can turn them back and you can get your money back. So it's truly a risk-free guarantee. So if you're looking at this business opportunity, if you're looking at these products and you're like, oh, but what if it doesn't work? You literally have no risk to get started. So we have discussed what you need to consider to get into growth mode, to develop this business that you love, and some of those questions you want to be asking yourself. So I want to leave you with this today, is that if you want to look at how your financial wellness can shift in the social selling space. And the perk of this too is because we're the mental health company, we know that your mental and physical health is going to shift with our products as well. These are some of the ways that you can get started. So we've got 3 different business brand partner packs that when you join on, when you upgrade to a brand partner, you are able to get a plethora of these products and get them at a significantly discounted rate. And so what I want you to do today is, I know some of you are joining and you may have been invited to this call from someone other than myself. I want you to reach out to whoever invited you, and I want you to ask them about these packs, right? And they're going to help you decide what's going to be the best to get you started, because you are going to find not only are you going to love these products, but if you haven't already, your family's going to love using these products as well. And then lastly, this actually ends tomorrow. So you do need to jump on this one. The product packs are there for a while, but this one ends tomorrow. Is for a limited time when you order Happy Juice for new customers and for existing customers. So if you've been using Amari for a while and you're just now considering the financial wellness side of things, or if you're completely new to Amari as a whole and you're just starting to explore this idea of earning income online, this is available to you. And I'm actually drinking out of my really cute Happy Juice cup today. I love it. And this gorgeous new packaging that we've got. So that ends tomorrow, and you definitely want to be able to ask the person who invited you about how you can take advantage of that. So that is all I have for us today in this conversation around financial wellness. And I want to leave you just with this last slide. This is something I come back to all the time, and it's this idea of forget the masses and go for meaningful. It is so easy to get swept up in that default mode and to be kind of going with the flow based on who's around you. And I want you to pause and I want you to think about what it would really feel like for you to show up with intention in your life and in your business, right? If you had amazing relationships, if your life was just this fully vibrant thing, and it's not just, I'm not saying it to just be inspirational. I really am not. I want you to ask that question because I'm telling you it is possible. It's possible not only with these products, but with this company vision as well. And quite frankly, if you get fired up about mental health and wellness and you want to help people feel their best, we need you, right? We're trying to get mental health and mental wellness into 1 million homes, and we need more people that are super passionate to link arms with us to be able to do that. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I am really excited to see what your takeaways were from today. Start asking yourself those questions. And if you're ready to get started and make a significant change in your mental wellness, we are here to help you get started. And I cannot wait to welcome you to the team. So thank you again for today, and we will see you all soon.